All right. Good afternoon. Welcome to, what are we doing? Building reports to analyze revenue. What did you guys think of the keynote this morning? Chatter? Yeah, good? Yeah, thank you. That is good stuff. All right. Next one. Well, let me introduce myself. My name is Amy Harbin. I am a Salesforce Certified Advanced Administrator. I work in Salesforce's UK office, although you may have picked up that I am not British. I am American. However, they do keep me around just so they can make fun of me. All right. I would like to introduce you to one of my colleagues from the UK office, Clive Hollingshead, who will be assisting me in today's session. All right. By now, you are probably more than familiar with our safe harbor statement. Considering what was discussed in the keynote speech, it probably doesn't take me to say, please base all buying decisions on what is currently in our product, in the version that you use, not in our forward-looking statements. If you're interested in reading all the way through the safe harbor statement, you can find it on our website. All right, we've provided training orgs for all of you. I noticed that some of you were actually already logged in. That's fantastic. So each of you at a computer station does have a unique org to log into. So I'm going to have you do that now. On your computer station, there is a 3-digit number, very important for your login. Your login for this session will be admin@df reports revenue, followed by that 3-digit number, .com. Your password for the session will be password1. Password all lowercase, followed by the number 1. Okay. If you have any trouble logging in, just raise your hand, and one of my colleagues who's walking around the room will be happy to come over and assist. Okay. And that actually goes for any time during this hour-long session. If you have any problems, just raise your hand, and one of my colleagues will be over shortly to give you a hand. Okay, thank you. So if anyone's having a problem logging in, let me just walk through what your username will be again. Will you put it up on the slide, Clive? On the slide? So your username is admin@reportsrevenue, followed by a 3-digit number. That 3-digit number is located on your computer monitor. Okay, so at your station, enter that 3-digit number, .com. And the password is password1. Password all lowercase, followed by the number 1. Okay? If you're still struggling, just raise your hand and one of my colleagues will come by and give you some assistance. Okay. Can I get one of the helpers to come up to the front? I've got someone in the corner who needs some help. So just bear with us while we get everyone logged in. All right, can we have the slides back then? And the next one. So you're probably wondering, am I in the right session? So let me tell you what we're going to cover in this session. So we're going to start off by looking at some of the reports that Salesforce provides for people who are looking to manage their sales organization. So lots of reports around opportunity management, revenue, that sort of thing. So we're going to be looking at some standard reports that come with the system. So you all have access to them through the system. And we're going to customize them just to suit our needs. Very easy and something that you don't have to be a system administrator to do. Anyone can do these. Okay? Then we're going to look at a second hands-on exercise where we want to look at the total closed business to date. So we want to know what sort of revenue we've brought in. And we want to group that by sales rep so we can see who's bringing in what and when. And we're going to go back to our standard reports, and we're going to use a standard report, but we're going to customize it using the report wizard. We're going to have a third hands-on exercise. Yes, there's going to be 3. You get to do lots during this session. So in our third hands-on exercise, we're going to use something called custom summary formulas. How many of you used custom summary formulas? All right, good. That's a lot more than I was expecting. Good. We're going to use custom summary formulas to do some analysis on the data. And what we're going to do is we're going to calculate the win rate of our sales reps. Okay? Great for team management, also for a little bit of healthy competition in the sales team. All right. At the end of that, I'm going to open it up for questions. I do ask that you hold your questions till the end, and I'll make sure that we leave some time right at the end for this. I want to tell you one other thing. This session is the first in a two-part series, so we're going to be following up this session with a dashboard session all around the sales organization. So I invite you to stay. It's in this room directly after this one. You can just stay. So the reports we build in this session are the reports we're going to use to build our dashboards in the next session. All right, let's get started. All right, well, let's talk about standard reports. So these are reports that Salesforce provides you, and they're fantastic queries into your system, all around your sales information. They're fantastic reports on their own, but they also make really good starting points for customizing your own reports, okay? All right, so one of the ones that we're going to look at is the Opportunity Pipeline Report. It comes as a standard report, and we're going to take that report and we're going to customize it just slightly so we can see what revenue is coming in based on the sales reps. We want to group it by the sales reps. Another report we're going to look at is the Closed Opportunities Report, so we can see what's come in and who brought it in. And we're going to customize that one a little bit too. In our third hands-on exercise, we're going to be calculating a win rate used in a custom summary formula and add it to that report. Another really useful report is the Opportunity History Report. Anyone ever use that one? Opportunity History Report? Yeah? Good. All right, so you can actually start to look at trends in your sales organization. Where are opportunities getting stuck in the sales cycle? What sales stages are taking the longest? And also, which sales reps are taking the longest to close their opportunities? And we can use that information in order to sort of pinpoint where things are going wrong so we can improve them. Okay? All of these reports I'm talking about can be used by anyone in the organization. You don't have to be a system administrator to customize these reports. All right? Just so I know, how many system administrators do we have in the room? Yeah? All right. About half. Good. Well, let's carry on then. All right. So the report options listed at the top of any report that you run. Okay? And allows you to make some simple customizations very quickly in order to tailor the report to suit your needs. Okay? So what we're going to do is we are going to use the report options to customize one of the standard reports, and then we're going to save it as a new custom report. Because any customizations that you make, you find that you're frequently making, you might as well just save it as a custom report so that you can run it the way you want it each time. Okay? All right. So we're going to move on to our first hands-on exercise. And in this exercise, we want to see all open deals. We want to see our entire pipeline, all open deals, and we want to group it by the sales rep. Okay? All right. So we're going to run the Opportunity Pipeline Report. Yeah? We're going to summarize it by the opportunity owner. We're also going to sort it by the probability. Okay? All things that we can do from the report options. And we're going to save it as a new report. We're going to then use that report as a basis for yet another report. And that one we're going to use in our next session on dashboards, and I'll show you that when we get there. And we're going to take the same report, but we're going to group it by something else. Okay? So everyone should be logged in. Clive's going to bring up the screen here. And we're going to get started on our first hands-on exercise. So let's go to the Reports tab. Okay? Click on the Reports tab. Now, if you haven't spent a lot of time on the Reports tab, let me just explain what we're doing here. So every report must reside in a folder. It's how we control access, and it's also how we organize them. Okay? Right in the middle there, you'll see a folder pick list. And I would like you to go to the Opportunity Reports folder. So choose Opportunity Reports, and then click Go. And that will bring back all the reports that reside in the Opportunity folder. So far, so good? All right. Right at the top, you'll see the Opportunity Pipeline Report. In order to run the report, all you need to do is click on it. Okay? So click on the Opportunity Pipeline Report, and our report will run. Okay? So that's our standard report. At the top, you'll notice that we've got the report options, allowing us to tailor the report quite quickly to suit our needs. But let's hold off on that for 1 second. I'm going to get Clive to scroll down a little bit so we can look at the reports. So what are we actually looking at with this standard report? Well, we're looking at a list of all of our opportunities. Okay? All of our open opportunities. If we can go up to where the columns are. And you'll notice that they're grouped. All of these are grouped by the stage in the sales cycle, so I can see what's open at each stage. And at these summary levels, I can see how many records make it up. Okay? Good. And each individual one will have a listing for each opportunity. Now, here's a trick that not everyone knows. A lot of times when working with reports, I might be looking at this report as a sales manager, and I want to go in and look at that report, thinking maybe, you know what, I don't believe David. I don't think that opportunity is as far as he says it is, so I'm going to go have a look at it. If you hold down the Shift key and click on one of the opportunity names, it'll open it in a second window. And that works anywhere in Salesforce. Just hold down the Shift key and click a clickable thing in Salesforce. It'll open up in a second window. So as a sales manager, I can have a look through his opportunity. I could even edit the opportunity. And when I'm done, I can close the window and I'm right back into the report where I wanted to be. If you don't mind closing that down, that'd be great. Okay? All right. Now, this report isn't exactly what I want. So what I wanted to do in my hands-on report was I wanted to group these opportunities by my sales rep, not by the stage. The stage is useful, but I want to group it by my sales reps. So in the report options, right at the very top, in the far left, there's a Summarize Information By field. And right now, it's listed as stage. What we're going to do is change it to the opportunity owner. Okay? So have a look in that list. You'll probably have to scroll a little bit up to the top and find opportunity owner. That's our sales reps, the opportunity owner. And choose that to summarize by. Now we wanted to see information for the current fiscal quarter. So over in the time frame, still within the report options, you'll notice in the time frame, just let's confirm that it says current fiscal quarter, and that's what we want. If you expand that field out, the duration field, you'll notice you have other time frames that you can deal with. And Salesforce is smart enough to know that this is the current fiscal quarter or the current calendar month, and next month it'll know it's the next calendar month. Okay? We're going to leave it, though, as it is, the current fiscal quarter. Below that, we've got a few other fields that we can change. We can change our view, so all opportunities versus my opportunities or my team's opportunities. We could even filter on things like the status. I want to see all the open opportunities or all the closed opportunities. And I can even filter on probability. Well, I want to see everything that's in the pipeline, but I only want to see the things that are less than 50% to close. Okay? All of those changes can be made through the report options. Now here's the important bit. You can make changes to the report options, but you've got to hit that Run Report button, that first button in the list, to rerun it with these new changes. So let's do that now. Let's hit the Run Report button. Okay. Now if we look at our report, instead of seeing it grouped by stage, we're now going to see it grouped by our individual opportunity owners or our sales reps. Okay? And if Clive wouldn't mind scrolling just down so we can see our report details, it's now grouped by David Hudson, Matt Wilson, and Phil Smith. Okay? And at the bottom, of course, we get our grand total so we can see everything that's in the pipeline. All right? All right. If you don't mind scrolling back up so we can see our buttons, let's talk about some of the other buttons. There's a Hide Details button on there. Okay? If you're just interested in summary information, I don't want to see all the opportunities, I just want to see summary information, you can use Hide Details. Okay? That is going to squeeze up your report, and you're only going to see the high-level information. All right? So I can see David Hudson, how much he's closing, Matt, and Phil, and then a grand total at the bottom. All right? Now, we didn't make a lot of changes, but instead of constantly running this report, making the changes we want, and then running it, we can actually save this as a custom report, and that's what we're going to do now. So we're going to use the Save As button. Okay? And we're going to call it Open Deals by Rep, or whatever you want to call it, but Open Deals, Open Opportunities, grouped by Sales Rep. It is always a best practice to put in a description. So if you're using reports and other people are going to be using them too, that description field will tell them if they've actually found the report that they need so they don't go trying to create something else. Okay, so all opportunities grouped by sales rep. Okay. Now you don't have to put anything in the unique name. That will automatically populate, but I do want you to put it in a very specific folder. I want you to put it into the Sales Dashboard Reports folder. And we're going to use that in the next session on dashboards. You've got two save buttons now. Save will save the report and take you back to the report's homepage, or save and return to report, which is kind of what it says on the tin. It's going to save and return it to the report. Let's do that. Save and return to report. Okay. All right. And there's our report. One thing I do want to show you, Clive, if you don't mind doing the show details. Okay? You can also sort on any one of those column headings. So for example, if I wanted to sort by the probability, I want to see my opportunities, but I want to see them listed in how close they are to getting to the end of the sales cycle, click on the column heading. And you can click on any column heading. I'm just using probability as an example. And you'll notice that it'll resort the data in that order. Okay? All right. Well, let's recap that. Let's go back to the slides. So that was our first hands-on exercise. So we took a standard report, we saved it as a custom report, and we're seeing all open deals by sales rep. All right? Pretty easy, isn't it? Yeah? All right. I'm skipping the second one. Let's just move on. All right. Well, let's talk about the report wizard. So the report options at the top of the screen, of the top of any report, very useful for quick, easy changes. But if you want to do something more substantial, we're going to have to use the report wizard. And the report wizard is simply a multi-step wizard that walks you through creating or customizing a report. Okay? So the report options wouldn't allow us to say, change the column headings in our report. It's not in the report options. So we're going to use the report wizard to do that. Okay? We can also change the format of our report using the report wizard. Okay? So we're going to talk about those next. So bear with me for a couple minutes. I'm going to tell you the changes we're going to make in the next hands-on exercise, and then we'll jump into the next hands-on exercise. All right, so the first thing that we are going to change in the next exercise is the report format. So let me tell you what your choices are. Okay? Number one, tabular reports. Simple, very simple and straightforward, such as a list of accounts with their phone numbers. That's it, just a list of data. Our second report type is summary reports. So very similar to tabular reports, except the data is grouped. So instead of just a list of accounts, I want to see a list of accounts, but grouped by industry or the owner of the account. Okay? Our third one is a matrix report. And this allows us to do grouping both across and down, such as all opportunities, grouped by the owner, as well as the industry. Okay? Next slide, please. All right, the columns to total is also something that we can mess around with in our report wizard. So what the columns to total will allow us to do is to do a sum, an average, a largest or smallest value on any number field, any currency field, or any checkbox field. So for example, if I wanted to see, say, all the revenue that my sales reps have brought in, I would do a sum on the amount field, on the opportunity. All you have to do is check the box, and it'll do it for you. Okay? Next one. Groupings. The next report that we're going to look at, we're going to make it a summary report. And when you make a report a summary report, you have the option to select how you'd like to group the data. And you have up to 3 options here. So you could choose to group your opportunities, say, by opportunity owner. And then you could add a second grouping for, say, close date. Okay? Now, if you choose a date as one of the fields that you want to group by, you will have a second option, and that is, how do you want to group that data? So if I wanted to group my opportunities by close date, I could choose the time frame that I want to display, such as calendar month. Show me everything that's closing in October, November, December, January. I could do it by calendar week, fiscal year. You have the choice of those options. Okay? All right, columns. Here's what I hate about certain reports. They run right off the side of the page, showing me information that I couldn't care less about. In the report wizard, you can choose what columns you want to include in your report, and we recommend that you keep them as clean and simple as possible. Okay? So we're going to do that in the next exercise. All right, so we're there. Let's do exercise number 2. Now, in the previous report, we were looking at our pipeline, open deals. Now we want to take a look at closed deals. So we want to see all opportunities closed this quarter, grouped by sales rep. Okay? So we're going to run a standard report, the closed opportunities report, and we're going to use the report wizard to make a series of changes. The first change is we're going to change the report format. It's actually a tabular report. We're going to turn it into a summary report, and we're going to group it by the sales rep. And we're also going to do a second grouping on account name. Okay? We're going to modify the columns, and then we're going to save it as a brand new report. Are you ready? All right, let's go back to the Reports tab. So you're probably still looking at the last report. I want you to click on the Reports tab to take you back to the Reports homepage. Okay? All right. In the folder, it probably still says Opportunity Reports there. Just click the Go button. Okay? So I want to see the Opportunity Reports folder. And within that, you will see about halfway down the list the Closed Opportunities Reports. Okay? If you click the Closed Opportunities Report, it will run that report. So far, so good? Yeah? Okay, good. All right, so that did run our report. Okay, showing us just a list. And if you scroll down, you'll notice it's just a list of opportunities. So that's not exactly what we want. We actually want to group it by the opportunity owner. Okay, we're also going to get rid of some of those column headings. We don't need them. Okay, so in order to access the report wizard, we're going to use one of the buttons. We're going to use the Customize button. Okay, so at the top of the report, you'll see the Customize button. Click the Customize button, and you'll be placed within the report wizard. And you'll notice on the upper right-hand corner, it'll tell you how many steps are in the report wizard. And right below that, you'll see a jump to step pick list. So you don't have to start at the first step and work your way through. You can jump all over the place. Just make the changes you want, get out, run your report. Okay? What I'm going to have you do is from that jump to step pick list in the upper right-hand corner, I'm going to have you jump to the first step, select report format. Okay. That will take you to the step displayed on the screen here, and this is where you can choose one of those 3 report types. Tabular report is selected. I want you to move it over one and turn it into a summary report. Okay, so we're going to make this a summary report. Once you've selected the radio button for summary report, click the next button in the upper right-hand corner. That'll move us to the next step of the wizard. It's all wizard-driven. Okay. This is where we can specify what we want to summarize. Now, what we want to do is we want to see the total closed business per sales rep. So we need to add up everything in the amount field that resides on the opportunity record. So let's just confirm that we have a checkbox in the sum column for the amount field. Okay? So that's already done for us. Now, you'll notice there's another tick mark in the average column. We don't actually need that for this report. I don't care how old the opportunities are. I just want to know who closed how much. I'd like you to uncheck that average checkbox. Okay? And let's hit the next button. Okay? Because we chose to create a summary report, it's going to tell you, well, these are all that you can group up to on 3 columns. Okay? So in the very first one, summarize information by, we want to summarize these opportunities by the sales rep, so the opportunity owner field. So let's choose opportunity owner from that list. Great. So the first row, opportunity owner. But we've got 2 more ways to summarize. So after it groups it by opportunity owner, you can choose to group it even more. And in the second field, I'd like you to choose the account name. Okay? Now you might be thinking, how can I report on the account name if I'm running an opportunity report? Well, opportunity reports are, of course, associated or related to accounts. So we can report on account information. So I'd like you to find account name. You may have to scroll down. We want to group this by account name. Okay? Great. So in our first row, opportunity owner. In our second row, account name. And that's it. Let's hit next in the upper right-hand corner. Okay? All right. Now we can select the columns we want to include in our report. And I do recommend take off anything that people aren't interested in. Okay? Keep it clean. That's what people want here. So in the left-hand column, believe it or not, I want you to uncheck opportunity owner. And you might be thinking, she's crazy. I want that information. That's okay. You already have that information. We're grouping by the opportunity owner, so we don't need to further include it as a column. So you can uncheck that box, that one in the far left column. Right below that, you'll see fiscal period. I don't care. Uncheck fiscal period. We don't need it. Okay? Moving over to the third column, I want you to uncheck the stage field. And again, you might be thinking, she's crazy. I need that information. But all of these opportunities have the same stage, don't they? They're all closed won. So we don't need that information. Uncheck stage if you don't mind. And right below that, there's age. And I don't need the age either. Don't care how old it is for this report. So uncheck age. There's one more I would like you to uncheck. And you're going to go into the second section, the account information here. And I want you to uncheck account name, because we're grouping by that as well. So we don't need to include it as one of our columns. All right? If you don't mind hitting the next button, this screen allows you to change the order of your columns. So you just specified the columns in the previous page. Now you can determine how you'd like to see them. How they're displayed top to bottom here is how they're going to display left to right in your report. If you want to move, say, the close date above the amount, highlight the close date and hit the up button. Okay? So the top, bottom, up, down buttons will help you move them around. Okay? Now you might be thinking, looking in the upper right-hand corner, we're on step 5 of 7. Well, do I have to hit next, next, next? I'm actually done. That's fine, you can. At the very bottom of the screen, you'll see a Run Report button in the lower left. You never have to hit next, next, next. If you're done, hit Run Report from here. And that's what I'd like you to do now. All right. And we'll scroll down and have a look at what we have here. So we have our opportunities. At the highest level, they are grouped by the opportunity owner. And underneath that, they are grouped by the account. Now sometimes I think, well, that's a little rough to read. I just want some high-level information here. Remember that Hide Details button? Give that a try now. Use the Hide Details button, and all of a sudden we've got a much easier report to read. So I can see the total amount of business closed by my reps, and then I can further see how much revenue I've brought in per account. Good stuff? All right. Now you may have noticed at the highest summary level, so at our sales rep level, there's a checkbox next to each sales rep's name. Did you notice that? As a manager, I can drill down into any one of those reps' information. So if you check the box for David Hudson, my first sales rep, and scroll right to the bottom of the report, I've got a drill down button. And I can filter my information so I can only see his data. Now, I've only got 3 sales reps, so I can actually see it all in one screen. But if you've got hundreds of sales reps, you can drill into just their data. Okay? All right. Let's recap the slides. Let's save it first. Thank you. Clive just gave me the stink eye, reminding me we need to save this. We're going to do that now. Let's hit the Save As button. And we're going to save this as Total Closed Business by Sales Rep. Thank you, Clive. Total closed business by sales rep. Give it a useful description. Imagine other people in your organization are going to be running this report. They're going to be looking at a lot of reports, and they're not sure, is this the report that I want? Your description can help them. Your description can save them time. The unique name will already be filled in, and we need to put it into a folder. And the folder I want is the same folder we used last time, which is the Sales Dashboard Reports. All right. And let's save and return to report. So far, so good? Yeah? All right. Report Wizard, very easy to use. All right. Now that we've saved the report, now we'll recap. Slide. All right. So we took a standard report, the Closed Opportunities Report. Good report all on its own, just not exactly what we wanted. So we used it as a starting point to save it, and we made some customizations using the Report Wizard. Things that we couldn't do just with the report options. Okay? We changed the format, turned it into a summary report. We decided to group by more than just one field. We grouped it by the sales rep, as well as the account name. And then we changed the columns. Yeah? Good. All right, well, let's carry on then. Let's talk custom summary formulas. So it sounds like some of you have already used these, but let me tell you what they are. Sometimes just doing a sum, an average, a largest or smallest value on a field isn't enough. We want to do some actual calculations. Now, I want you to be honest with me. How many of you have taken the information out of Salesforce, dumped it into Excel, and done all your calculations there? Oh, my God. I won't tell anyone. Custom summary formulas are for you, all right? Let's start with the first one. So, really easy to use, 4 steps. First, we're going to pick our field. And you have access to any number field, any currency field, and any checkbox field. And you can choose to do a sum, average, largest or smallest value. But you also have access to a bunch of operators. Divide, multiply, all those things we learned in 4th grade. The third thing you have access to is functions. Now, how many of you, your heart just skipped a beat when I said functions? Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. We've got lots of help and training on functions. If you're not comfortable with them, that's fine. A, you don't have to use them. B, if you do decide to use them, there's lots and lots of context help. Okay? The last thing we have to do, of course, is we have to validate our syntax, see if we have any errors. And then we're done. Okay? We're going to use one of these things to calculate the win rate of our sales reps. I want to know who my best reps are. That's some healthy competition if I publish that information. And even if it's not, just managing my team, it's useful. And it would be a good starting point to start to do some analysis on my best reps. What are their success factors? And how do I duplicate those in maybe my average sales reps? Okay? So we're going to move on to our third hands-on exercise. We are going to use the previous report, and we are going to use that as our basis for this report. And we are going to create a custom summary formula. We are also going to mess around with the criteria. We want to filter the data in a slightly different way. So in the previous report, we were looking at closed-won opportunities. Now I want to see closed-won and closed-lost. That's how I'm going to calculate my win rate. Okay? Let's go back into the application. Okay. And what we're going to do, does everyone still have the report sitting on their screen? If you don't, you should know how to find it. Go to the folder that we've saved it in and open it there. But if you still have it open, what we're going to do is hit Customize. Great. So we're going to customize this report. And if you're thinking, well, I don't want to overwrite this one, oh, we're not. We're going to create a second report off of the back of this one. So let's hit Customize. Okay, and you will be dropped into the second step. Remember when we checked that sum column? What I would like you to do from this page is scroll all the way to the bottom. And it is there where you will see a red line that says Custom Summary Formulas and a teeny tiny New button. Let's click that teeny tiny New button. And in a second window, you will see where we're going to build our custom summary formula. So what we want is a win rate. Well, how do we get a win rate? What we're going to do is we're going to take all of the won deals and divide them by all of the closed deals. And a lot of times people use closed to mean won. What we're talking about is anything that's closed won or closed lost. So if I won 10 deals out of 100 deals that I closed, I have a 10% win rate. That is the best math I can do in my head. I can't do any more than that. All right, we got to give it a label. Let's call it win rate. Let's give it a description. Sometimes, for the description in this area of the application, it's useful to say what sort of calculation you're actually trying to accomplish. So what we're going to do is we're going to divide the total number of won deals by the total number of closed deals. So if you can put that into a description, that works out well. All right. We also have to specify the format. Okay, you've got a couple options in that pick list of format. Sorry, Clive does really long descriptions, so we'll wait till he finishes typing. Then we'll go to the format, and we'll reveal the format pick list. And when we're talking about win rates, what do we want? Yeah, we want a percent, so let's choose percent here. Decimal places, it's going to default to 2, but I just want a whole number. Okay, I want a 50% win rate, 14% win rate, 97% win rate. So change that decimal places to 0. Okay, all right. Moving down into the next section, it wants to know where we want to place our win rate. Okay, now what we're going to do is you've got a few options. Do we want it at all summary levels? Well, no. I want it grouped by my sales rep. I want one win rate per sales rep. So we're going to choose the third radio button down. And it's smart enough to know that we've grouped this report by opportunity owner, so it's giving that as one of our options. Okay? All right. Now we need to construct our formula. If that strikes the fear of God in your heart, don't worry, I'm going to walk you through it. Okay? Now, before I do that, I need to tell you about two fields that you might not be familiar with. When a sales rep goes to the stage field and marks one of his opportunities, or her opportunities, as closed won, there's a checkbox on the opportunity record that no one ever sees. And that checkbox is called won. Okay? And why is this useful? Because we can do calculations on it. Okay? So there's another field called closed. And if a sales rep goes and marks his or her opportunity as closed won or closed lost, the closed checkbox, hidden from everyone's view, gets checked. And again, we can do calculations on those checkboxes. So what we're going to do is we are going to find in the insert a summary field that checkbox field called won, W-O-N. Okay? Select won from the insert a summary field. And just to the right of that, you can choose the summary type that you want. And in this case, I want to count them up. I want to know, out of all the opportunities, how many of them are won. So I'm going to choose sum, which it probably defaulted to that anyway. So won, sum, and click the insert button. Okay? So that's my first bit. Now I want to insert an operator. I want the division sign. So there's an insert operator button. You can also use it off your keyboard, but from the insert operator button, choose the divide operator. So far, so good. We're going to go back up to the insert a summary field and choose closed. Okay, that's our second checkbox, hidden from our users. Choose closed, leave it as sum, and hit insert. Okay, so count up the number of won opportunities divided by the total number of closed opportunities. Now, I just want to point one thing out. Do you see just to the right of the insert button, there's a show functions? We don't need a function in this summary formula, but they're there if we need them. Okay? So if you like to use functions to do all sorts of cool calculations, you can access them from there, but we don't need them. Now, step 4 of creating a custom summary formula is to check our syntax. So right at the bottom in the left corner, click Check Syntax. You want a green message. Green is good, red is bad. If you see green, no errors in formula, you're good to go. If you see red, have a look at your custom summary formula and see if you can see what the problem is. Okay? If you're having any problems, just raise your hand. One of my colleagues will come by and help. And that's it. In the lower corner, lower right-hand corner, click Done. Okay? Now, if Clive doesn't mind scrolling down to the bottom of the page, you will now see your custom summary formula listed there. And it is available for you to use anywhere within this report. Okay? All right, let's go back up to the top of the screen. So there's my win rate. There's only one other customization I need to make, so I am not going to make you hit next, 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 next. I want you to go to jump to step, and I want you to jump to select criteria. Second to last step. Jump to step, select criteria. Now from this screen, you have two sections, standard filters and advanced filters. Standard filters, if you have a look at it, looks probably fairly familiar. Same as the report options at the top of every report. Advanced filters are anytime you can accomplish your filtering through the standard filters. Now what we want to do is we want to ensure that our closed won and closed lost opportunities are being displayed. So in the standard filters from the opportunity status pick list, instead of closed won, I want it to read closed. And that means won and lost deals. Okay? All right. Now, if you're ever thinking, oops, I may have missed a step, and I have done this on purpose, by the way. If you think you've ever missed a step, you still have the jump to step in the upper right-hand corner. So I want you guys to jump to a step that I forgot to take you to, which is the select columns. And I want to add one thing there. Okay? So let's go to select columns from the jump to step pick list. And in the third column, I want you to add back stage. Okay? I want to be able to see the stage because I want to know when I drill down into the details of that report, which ones are closed won, which ones are closed lost. Okay? Might want to do analysis on my lost ones. All right. That's it. If you scroll to the bottom of this page, in the lower right left-hand corner, there's a Run Report button. Let's run that report. Okay. Let's scroll down a bit. There we go. So we can see David Hudson, Matt Wilson, and you'll see we've got our win rate. Good stuff? All right. I do want to point out one more feature. Came out earlier this year. Does everyone notice that your Run Report button has a little drop-down arrow on it? One thing that you can do is you can choose to email reports. How many of you knew you could email reports? Well, I'm glad I'm telling you then, because that's not all of you. Good. You can send reports to people. They can see them in email. It'll also include a hyperlink to take them into the report itself, right into the application to view the report. And you can do that from that scheduled report run. Okay? All right. Let's recap. Or save. Yes, I don't know what's wrong with me today. I'm trying to get you guys not to save your reports. Let's save this report. Now, you've got a save and a save as. Save will do just what you're expecting. It'll save it and overwrite the previous report. And if that's what you want, that's fine. Save as, of course, will save it as a new report, and which is what I'd like you to do now. Let's do a save as. And let's call it sales rep win rate. We'll give it a description. Okay. And we're going to put it in the same folder we've been putting things in so far, which is the sales dashboard folder. And we'll do a save and return to reports. All right. Well, let's recap there. All right, so we took an existing report. It wasn't a standard report. It was actually a custom report we had created previously, and we used that as the basis of our customizations. And we used a custom summary formula to calculate a win rate. Good. And then we saved the report. Good. All right. All right. We cover reports in all of our courses. All right. We cover it in the administrator courses, developer courses, as well as the consultancy courses. We also have lots of titles around reporting in our Premier Training catalog. So if you'd like more information about Premier Training or to sign up for any of our courses, visit the training and certification booth in the campground. You can't miss it if you walk straight into the campground. It's right at the back, and it's massive. Okay? All right. I'm going to ask you to do one thing for me before I open it up for questions. And we do have plenty of time for you to ask your questions. If you could go to your Home tab. So click on the Home tab. If your sidebar is not showing, I'd like you to enable it. And you can click on the dividing line to open it, or you can use the keyboard shortcut, Alt-S. About halfway down, there is a course survey. Okay, so click on Course Survey. It'll only take 2 minutes, and it really helps us improve these courses so that next year we can provide you even better courses. So let us know what you thought. If you can't remember the name of this course, it is Building Reports to Analyze Revenue. I'll give you a minute to fill those out, and then I'll be happy to take your questions. Do one of you guys mind handing the mic around? So I'm going to open it up for questions. Do you mind? Yeah, okay. All right. Now I'm going to open it up for questions. Before I do that, I know some people might slip out, so I just want to remind you that you're invited to stay for the next session on building dashboards to drive revenue. So all the reports we created here, we're going to turn them into dashboards. So please, please, please plan on staying. It's in this room directly after this, starting at 4:45. Okay? I'm going to open up for questions. If you have a question, just raise your hand and we'll get someone to bring the mic over to you. We've got one right back here. Great.
On your example where we created our own field for the win rate, what if I want to create a subsequent computation on win rate? So I want to pass through the data again to do another computation on the field I created.
Okay, so let me make sure I understand it. So you want to create a custom summary formula, and then you want to do a calculation on that custom summary formula.
Yes.
Do you have any other questions?
No, that's why I'm here.
Okay. You can't actually call a custom summary formula from another one, but you could possibly use a function to carry out whatever it is, the calculation you were looking at. So you might be able to compile it into one custom summary formula, but unfortunately, you can't call one within another. Okay, but thank you for the question. We've got another one over here. You can't. So you can't actually call one custom summary formula from another one. But you could probably use some functions and to put it all into one custom summary formula. Thank you for that. We've got another one over here. Oh, that's a good one. We've got a great idea over here. So one of the things that you can do is you can create a custom field, have the information from your custom summary formula put into that field, and then call that field in your second custom summary formula. Thank you for that. That's a brilliant idea. Good. Anyone else have good ideas?
In the list of functions, is there a string concatenation function at all?
Yeah, so in our functions, is there a string concatenation? Yes, there is. And if some of you are thinking, how do I know which functions are there? At the top of any Salesforce page, there is a help and training. And if you type in functions, you will get tons and tons of help. So yes, there absolutely is one there. Thank you for that question. Any others? Yep, hold on one second. Just want to make sure that everyone can hear. Yeah, okay, let me just repeat that one. So the question was, where can I email reports from? So I'm going to get Clive to just bring that back up onto the screen. So when you've run a report, at the top of your report, you've got the Run Report button, and it's got a little drop-down arrow. So I'm just going to get Clive to run any report. I don't care which one. Perfect. So from your Run Report button, there's a little drop-down arrow. The first one will just refresh the report. The second one will schedule future runs of the report. And from there, you can choose to email it, and then you can specify how frequently you want it to happen. Yeah? Okay, good. Yeah?
Part of a dashboard, why wouldn't you just essentially schedule the dashboard?
You're stealing my thunder now. That's not good. So the question was, if you were going to email dashboards, wouldn't that be better than emailing the individual reports? And yes, that is absolutely the case. So in our dashboards, we can have up to 20 components, meaning up to 20 report bits of information in one dashboard. So instead of sending out 20 individual emails, let's just email the dashboard to everyone. That's exactly it. Thank you for that. Any other questions? We've got one right over here.
Is there a restriction as to the number of objects you could report on?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So is there a restriction as to the number of objects you can report on? So let me tell you what's inherent. If you're reporting on, say, opportunities, because they're related to accounts, you'll always have access to both objects' data. However, there is something called custom report types, which allows you to group up to 4 related objects so that you can report across all of them. So if you're interested in custom report types, we do have a session on custom report types here at Dreamforce. It's also one of our titles in our Premier Training Catalog. So yes, you can. The limit is 4, and you can report across all of them. Okay, good. Thank you for that. Was there a question up here? Yeah. Yeah, let me make sure everyone heard that. So the question was, is the emailing capability in the current version? Yes, it is. Okay, so everyone should have access to the email capability from reports. Anyone else? We've got one right over here. Yeah, good question. Sorry, I answered it too fast. So can you email people who don't have Salesforce? No, you cannot. They have to be Salesforce users. What we do, though, include is a hyperlink to the report so they can go right into the application. Okay. Any other questions? All right. Well, what I'm going to do is let you go. If you're interested in staying for the dashboard session, it is in this room. Thank you very much for your attention. Really appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of the conference.